try and error factoring of this kind of trinomial where the leading coefficient here is not 1, okay? When this is not 1, okay? I'm trying to explain how the process goes, okay? Let's discover this together. So I have this binomial times this binomial, okay? 2x plus 1 times x plus 3. I'm going to multiply this out, right? 2x times x give me 2x squared. 2x times 3 is the middle term over here. 1 times 1x is this term over here. 1 times 3 is the last term over here, right? Okay. So now now I combine this term like terms. So 6x plus 1x give me 7x over here. Okay. So you see this 7x over here. Okay. Now, and then you have this 3 at the end, right? You have this 3 at the end. Okay. And then we also have this 2 in front, right? The 2 here in front. Okay. So you get this trinomial. So, but now we're going to go backward. We're trying to factor this trinomial back into this, and what's the pattern, right? So the way that you can think about this, you see this 2 over here, okay? It's going to be factored into this 2 times 1, right? So we can try 2 times 1, and then you factor this 3 over here. We try that 1 times 3. So 1 times 3 is equal to positive 3. Now, that way, what we should have to think about the middle one, okay? So you see, where does this 7 here come from? The 7 here come from this 6 plus this 1, right? I should use a different color. Okay, so 6 plus this 1 over here give you 7, okay? So where does this 6x here come from? This 6x over here come from 2x times 3, which is this 2x times 3. 2x times 3 is this one. That is going to give you this 2x times 3. So that's the one, okay? So this one times this give you this. Now, where did this 1x come from? The 1x here come from this 1 times 1x, which is this one over here. Okay. So this is this one over here. Okay. Okay. So now this, if you only focus, so 2x times 3, that will give you 6x, right? So that was the 6x that you got over here. And this 1 times 1x, that was this 1x that you got over here. And they sum up to this 7x over here, right? They sum up to this 7x over here. Okay. So now you see the factor over here. 2x plus 1 is this one, corresponding this 2x plus this one over here. Okay. 2x plus 1 is the first factor, and 1x plus 3, 1x plus 3 over here. If you read this horizontally, 1x plus 3 is the second factor. Okay, so this 7x over here comes from this inner product, right? So right here and here. And this 7 comes from this 6 plus 1. The 6 over here comes from this 2 times 3 and plus 1 times 1 over here, 1 times 1 over here. So when you try to factor that, you can try to factor this, the coefficient for the x squared, so into 2 times 1. The last number term, 3 here into 1 times 3. So you know that the first and last term is going to work, but you want to make sure the middle term also works. The way to check that is you cross multiply and sum. So you cross multiply here. 2 times 3 makes 6. Okay, the 6 here. And then 1 times 1 make 1 over here. And if they sum up to this 7 here in the middle, then you know that you get the right try. And then you can read the factor by reading that horizontally. 2x plus 1 is the first factor. 1x plus 3 is the second factor over here. Okay? Right. You see the relation between this one and this one. Okay, like this. Okay, so let's try to use this next example to practice on this. Okay, so over here, this is x squared x and the number. Okay, and the leading coefficient here is not 1, it is 2. Okay, now we can use this try error factoring to do that. Now we could factor this 2 into 2 times 1. 2 is a prime number, so it can only be 1 times itself. Okay, so I factor that into 2 times 1. Now I'm going to factor this 5 over here, this 5, positive 5, into 2 numbers. So can you think about 2 numbers? What if I get 5? Well, 5 is a prime number, so that you can only have 1 times itself, right? So 1 times itself. So I factor this 5 into 1 times itself. Okay. Now, I want to see if the middle one also check. Okay, so over here you have this 11, positive 11. Okay, so I'm going to cross multiply it. Okay, so 2 times 5 make 10. 1 times 1 make 1. Okay, they sum up to this positive 11. Right, so I know I got the right choice. Okay, so how do you read this? So what will be the factoring? What will be the first factor? Now, at this time, when you try to read that, you put back the x, okay? Now, when you read that, you can read this. You put back the x over here because x squared factor into x times x. So when you read that, you put back the x, but when you try to find the right try, you can leave the x out because you focus on the number. It's easier for you to find the right combination to make this work, okay? So the first factor here will be 2x plus 1. Okay, so we got 2x plus 1. Okay, and the second factor over here will be 1x plus 5. But when the coefficient is 1, you usually leave out the 1 over here. So you should maybe just leave out this one. Okay, now you can try to multiply this out. Okay, when you multiply this out, 2x times x give you 2x squared. 1 times 5 give you this 5. And how do you know the middle one is going to be 11x? Well, 2x times 5 is this one, the 10x. 1 times x is this one over here, which is 1x. And then they sum to 11x. So that is going to work, okay? Okay, let's practice a little bit, okay? I know some of you have different method. You feel free to use different method. I know there's the AC method. I actually taught that in another school. But somehow this worked a little bit faster to me. We practice, it worked faster. But you can feel free to use other method, okay? Okay, so let's try this, okay? So try to factor 5 over here, right? So how would you like to factor this 5?
1 and 5.
Okay, we can try 1 and 5, right? We can try 1 and 5. Okay, now how would you like to factor this 2?
1 and 2.
Okay, so you said 1 and 2. Okay, let's see, try 1 and 2. Okay, 1 and 2 over here. That way, yeah, so I know that the first and the last is going to match. However, let's check the middle. Okay, so of the middle, 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 5, it is 5. Do they sum up to this positive 7? Yeah, it worked, right? Yeah, it worked. Now we can read the factoring over here. So this is 1x plus 1. So this will be x plus 1. And then the next one here, it is what, everyone? It is 5x, right? Remember, you read this horizontally. 5x plus 2. Okay, x plus 2 is the one. Okay, so we got lucky that we got the right try in the first in the first place. Now, some people will say, what happens if I cross multiply and don't sum up to this? If that happens, you can try to switch order, switch this two. Okay, you can try to put the 2 up and 1 down. Okay, and you can try to think different combination to factor this number. Okay, you can try -1 times -2. Okay, like that. Okay. The book actually leave out you can look at the book's way on page 415. I find that it's really long, and I kind of like this one better. Okay, now this one over here. Okay, how would you like to factor this? Let's try that. Okay, so a squared here, a and number, so we can try error factoring. So for this 3 here, how would you like to factor 3?
1 and 3.
Okay, let's try 1 and 3. Okay, so 1 and 3. What about this -4? How would you like to factor -4? Oh, okay, so I have someone in the chat saying -2 and 2. Yes, okay. So let's try -2 and 2. So -2 and 2. Okay, let's see if it works. Okay. So 1 times 2, it is 2. 3 times -2 is -6. Indeed, they sum to this -4 over here. So that works, right? Okay, that's good. Now, we can read the factoring over here. Okay, so how do you read this? We have the first one here, it is what? A minus 2, right? 1a minus 2. So you can read it as a minus 2. Okay, and then the next one over here will be what? 3a plus 2, right? Okay, so I would like to give you guys about 3 minutes to try this one, number 4. Can you guys try number 4? Okay, whoever get it first, get the extra credit, okay?
W plus 1 times 5W plus 3.
You got it, okay. W plus 1, so you have W plus 1, and then you have 5W plus 3, right? 5W plus 3, you got it, okay, good job, okay? All right, so over here, the 5 over here, we can try 5 times 1, and then the 3, we can try 3 times 1, and you see that they sum up to, this is 5, this is 3, and they sum to 8, right? Okay, so that works, okay? Okay, how about the next one? Can you guys try the next one? Also for extra credit. You can enter that in chat if you want. I'll just open the chat to take a look right now.
2a plus 1.
2a plus 1 times
A minus 9.
a minus 9, you got it. Okay, good. How about we try together? Okay. Okay, so now suppose we try this way first. Okay, 2 into 2 times 1, -9 into 3 times -3. Okay, now when you cross multiply over here, this is -6, and then this is +3. They don't sum up to -17, right? So no, okay, so no, because the sum over here, it is does not equal to -17. So no, okay, so that's a no over here. That's why we call try and error. So this is an error. So we're going to try it again, okay? So the way that we try again, we can keep the first one, and then this one here inside the 3 times -3. We can try other way to factor -9. So I try 1 times -9, okay? 1 times -9 is also -9. So you have to consider different factors of this number, okay? Now, 2 times -9 is -18. 1 times 1 is 1. Indeed, the sum over here, it is equal to -17. So yes, okay? So over here, now we got find the y combination. So we just need to read this. So this is going to be 2a plus 1, and then 1a, which is a, minus 9. Okay, so this one to tell you that sometimes when you first try that, you might not get the right combination in the first place. If you don't get the right combination, you can try different way to factor, okay? And you try different combination until you find the one that works. But with a little bit practice, some of you can do it very quick. And some people actually really enjoy this, okay? All right, so that was the Chinese way. You can also use other way to do it. Choose whatever way that you feel comfortable. And over here, you already learn different way, right? Maybe in high school, middle school, you learn different way. Okay, so now over here, remember last time we talked about the first step in any factoring is to take out the greatest common factor, okay? But today I actually want to supplement that. I would say is put it in the right order and then take out the greatest common factor. What do you mean the right order? So if you have the variable, you put the variable from highest exponent to lowest exponent in descending power, okay? So x squared first and x and number. And you have x squared and then xy and then y squared. So in this order, okay? Now, if you try to factor this is in the right order, x squared and then xy and then y squared. However, the leading coefficient here, it is negative. It is negative 15. When you do try error, the way that we do it, look at the one before. The leading coefficient here is easier when it is positive, right? Positive. And when we factor this number, the leading coefficient over here, we only consider the positive factoring of this number. We don't consider like -1 times -2. Only consider positive 1 times +2, okay? So when this leading coefficient is positive, only consider the positive factoring of this number, okay? So don't put -1, -2 over here, okay? So this one here, the leading coefficient is negative. So we like to take out this negative sign, okay? So take out the negative sign, but we also like to take out the greatest common factor. So what's the greatest common factor of these three twins over here? 5? Yeah, you got it. It is 5. So 5. And you have this parenthesis here. You have 3. Now we put 3x squared minus what? So if you take out 5 over here, okay? Now remember when you take out minus sign, the operation here, addition here, change to subtraction. 25 divided by 5, it is 5. So this is 5xy. And then now addition becomes subtraction, minus 12y squared, right? Now you see that inside here is in the form x squared, xy, y squared, this kind of trinomial. So we can try error factoring, okay? So to factor this, you can try to factor this 3 here. How would you like to factor this 3? Someone says 3 times 1, right? It's a prime number. It can only be 1 times itself, right? And then now you can try to factor this -12. Okay, how would you like to factor -12?
Okay.
Louder, please.
-6 and 2.
-6 and 2. Okay, let's try that. Okay, so -6 and 2. Okay, now see if it works. Okay, this 2 multiplied, it is 6. This 2 multiplied is -6. They don't sum to -5. The sum over here, it is 0. So no. So this is a no right here now. Okay, but we can fix it though. Okay. So we can try it on the side. Okay. So the good thing here is when I use this method, you can put it on the side. You don't have to put down all those x. Okay. So 3 times 1. Now you can try different way to factor this -12. Okay. Can someone tell me what will be a different way to factor -12?
-3 and 4.
Okay, so let's try -3 and 4, right? Okay, let's see what, okay? So this is going to be 12, and this is going to be -3. again, the sum over here, is not equal to -5, so no. Okay. So what will be, so let's try again, okay? So -12. Now, this time maybe we can try to switch the order over here. How about we switch the order? Okay, so we'll put -4 up and -3 down. So we'll have 4 over here and -3 down. So we can try to switch it, okay? So sometimes if it doesn't work, then you can try to switch it. So try switch them. Okay, and get this. Okay, get this. Now let's see what work. Okay, 3 times this is -9. 1 times 4 is 4. The sum over here is indeed equal to -5. So yes, so that's the right choice. Okay, so you can do it on scratch paper on the side. Okay, and you're just focusing on the number is easier. Okay, so now we're going to put down. So we found the right combination, but don't forget the -5 in front. That's it. TCF. Okay, so -5. Now, how do you read this factoring over here? This is the right combination, right? So this is how do you read this? This is going to be what? 3x
3x
and then plus 4 what?
4y.
4y. Yeah, don't forget. This is a y square and y here, right? So don't forget the one. So so at the end, when you read that, you can put back the x and y. X here, x over here, y over here, and y over here. Okay, so don't forget. So you have this 3x plus 4y. And then also x minus 3y. Now you have to factor this completely. Okay, good? Okay. Now the next one.